Hello, everyone, and welcome to PCR's June Tips and Virtual Transition Times meeting. My name is Melissa Wyman, and I am PCR's Respite Care and Community Engagement Director. I will be your moderator this evening, so please feel free to send any questions or comments in the chat box below. We are so excited to be collaborating with Montgomery County Public Schools, MCPS, Transition Services Unit to provide an enhanced transition times and tips program for transitioning youth, their family, and caregivers. We are delighted to offer this presentation with American Sign Language simultaneous interpretation. We will also be offering this presentation with Spanish simultaneous interpretation. To access the other interpretation services in Spanish, at the bottom of your screen, select Spanish for the Spanish interpretation. Mute original audio if you only want to hear one language. And the interpretation information is on your screen currently. The English and Spanish versions will be archived on the PCR website Transition Times page. Just some Zoom tip reminders. We are using the webinar platform. We will wait for questions at the end of the presentation, but feel free to submit any of your questions in the chat box below. Click Show Captions to see the captions for the webinar. You must select the speaking language you would like to show. Also, for funding needs, it is very important to receive feedback from our attendees. Please answer the one question poll by the end of the webinar. Thank you for your help and feedback. Tonight, we are so excited to have Joe Perlman and Debbie Perlman from Danny's Plan to share about a revolutionary tool called the Danny Plan, designed for your loved one with a disability, a groundbreaking solution you won't want to miss. So, Joel?
Awesome. Melissa, thank you so much. First of all, thank you to everybody. I'm really excited to be here to be able to present to this community. I was lucky enough, I think about a year ago, to first present the Danny Plan. We've come a long way since then with a lot of enthusiasm for the product, but also lots of updates with feedback from many parents and organizations. We've enhanced quite a bit. So again, my name is Joel Perlman. I'm married to wife Debbie, who is also one of the partners of the Danny Plan. We have three children, of which our oldest daughter, Danny, has autism. She is nonverbal. She also has epilepsy. And we're lucky to say that she is amazing, super sweet soul with a great nature. We're really lucky to have her. About 5 years ago, Debbie and I were sitting down on the couch and we were talking about, I guess, us not being around anymore. Just kind of a worst case scenario. We're not around anymore. And asking the question, if we're not around, how do people know how to take care of Danny in the way that we want her taken care of, keeping her happy and healthy and safe? And we've had, Danny's 24 years old, and we have 24 years of wisdom in our heads, just like all of you have 24 years of wisdom in your heads about your loved ones, all those little nuances about them that no one else really understands like you do. For us, it was things like making sure that Danny's iPhone was charged so she could communicate, or that she had her headphones on so she could block noises out, or that she has her pink blanket on her bed because Danny will not sleep without that pink blanket on her bed, or a worst case scenario, she has a seizure and they need to understand, they don't understand where her emergency medicine is or how to handle the seizure. And it was at this moment that Debbie and I decided we really owed it to Danny to document her life in a way that people will really understand. We also felt like we owed it to any future caregivers so that they aren't in chaos trying to figure out all those things that we collectively know about our kids in our heads, right? That wisdom I was talking about. And the last piece is we really felt like we owed it to ourselves. There's something that I think that we all share, many of us share, I should say, not everybody, but the idea of passing before our loved ones do, because who's ever going to take care of them the way that we will? And we just felt like we owed it to ourselves to build a plan that would live on far after we're gone with Danny for the rest of her life. And that was really the inspiration around creating the Danny Plan, which is a centralized hub to help consolidate and organize all the information needed to properly care for your loved one with a disability. It's simple, it is secure, it is really easy to update and easy to share with rotating caregivers, teachers, therapists, doctors, family members, guardians. And so what started out as an insurance policy almost has really become this amazing daily tool for us to be able to share with important stakeholders in our loved ones' lives. So I think before I what I'm going to do for you today is actually give you a demo of the Danny Plan. Before I do that, I would love for you to answer kind of three questions to think about. I don't know, Melissa, if you could pull those. Again, I want you to be thinking about these three questions as I go through the Danny Plan. If anything happens to you, do you have a detailed plan to make sure whomever is taking over the care of your loved one knows exactly how to care for them? Does your loved one rotate through new caregivers, therapists, teachers, doctors, and more? And the last one is the information and paperwork. Can you go back one more?
Yes, I'm
Third
sorry.
question. That's okay. Is the information and paperwork about your loved ones organized, easy to find, easy to update, and easy to share? And you can actually pull off this, and we'll come back to that last page later, Melissa. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and share the Danny Plan with you. Okay, can we see this? Okay, great. All right. So what you're looking at right here is Danny's actual dashboard with a few private things blocked out at the moment. One of the things that was really important to Debbie and myself was that we built a product that really represented life, not like a legal document or an IEP or a medical document, but with the colors, the little butterfly that represents life, a little picture of Danny doing one of her favorite things on her boat. And then even this little essence statement, we wanted to make sure we're going to be sharing this with many people in her lives. And we wanted to start it with who she is at her core, at her essence. And so we created this little statement. I am Danny. I am sweet and silly. My life is full of love. I'm nonverbal, but I have a lot to say. I've discovered a fullness of life through the love of family and friends, come into my world and experience life through my eyes. Now, even down to this intro statement, we wanted to make sure that the Danny Plan was really intuitive and simple for everybody to use. So we created the ability here to create an intro statement really easy. This would, each of if you signed up with the Danny Plan, it would say meet and the name of your loved one here. So this is meet Danielle. I am, and you can go ahead and pick words that represent them the best. Or you can pick your own words if you don't see it there. Some have words, some have phrases, but within a few minutes, you can create a really nice intro statement. Now, what you'll see down here are quite a few main tiles. Here's about me, key people, medical and therapy, emergency, all the way down to housing, finances, and legal. Now, one thing you'll see also is this add a category. And what we kept happening is parents would kept saying to us, we would love to, do you have a category about this? Or do you have a category about that? And what we realized is there's so many unique needs for everybody so many things that people want to customize to their loved one. We decided to give you the ability to create your own plan with your own categories. So you can add as many of these main categories as you'd like to. Now, underneath each of these main categories are quite a few subcategories. So under About Me, you have most important things to know about me, my likes, my dislikes, strengths. Under Key People, we have family, caregivers, friends, and pets. And under Medical and Therapy, we have medication, doctors, diagnosis, insurance, therapy. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but I think you get the point. There's quite a few subcategories under each of these main categories here. Now, again, back to customization, which I think is really important. You being able to really personalize this for your loved one. I had a mom recently say to me, I would love to add my daughter's goals. And I said, great, where do you think it would best fit? And she said, well, why don't we put it under About Me? So we went into About Me. I then went to add a new subcategory. I type in goals. I'm not going to include contact info, nor am I going to include notifications. I'll go ahead and save this. And within seconds, you'll see down here on the bottom, we now have a subcategory under About Me called Goals. Now, if I go to add a new entry, it'll say Goals. In this section, please describe everything we need to know about Danny's goals. Many of the sections are formatted like this, with a title, the ability to fill out information the way you'd like to fill out information with a bullet list, a narrative to explain or tell a story, and with a numbered list, which is great for prioritization, and it's also great for step-by-step routines. It's a great way to train new caregivers or teachers or therapists that need to understand how to do certain things. I'll show you some of those examples shortly. Every section, no matter what, every subcategory has the ability to put additional info in it. It has the ability to add links. So many parents were asking us, hey, could we add video to this? So we gave the ability for you to add video links so you can actually show people how to do things. But you could also add things like a patient portal, where to buy something, or your loved one's favorite music. Documents. I know we're all familiar with this. We get so many documents since our children were young. Legal documents, business documents, IEPs, medical, and it's just kind of never ending. And so this is a way that the idea of the Danny Plan is everything stored in one central place, not only all the information, but also all those documents that we get. You can store them in the Danny Plan, and you can also share them out. And I'll show you how you can do that as well. And then the last piece we have is photos, and there's a lot of great uses for photos, and I'll show you what that looks like shortly. Okay. I'm going to just show you one more input just to show you the intuitiveness of the product. And then I'm going to show you what some of the output looks like, what people will see when you're sharing it with them. Okay, so if I were to add, let's say, a new family member, it would come here. Relationship would have a drop-down box, so you can pick the relationship. You're going to put in a name, phone number. You can check this box and it'll, if they're emergency contact, it'll actually auto-populate right into the emergency section. And again, you have additional info, the ability to add contact info for this person. And then this is a good place to add a photo for that individual. Okay. So let me start digging in and showing you some of the output of the Danny Plan. So again, imagine that, of course, you're going to be sharing this with family members and guardians, but also let's just say a brand new caregiver comes into the life of your loved one, and you're going to share certain information with them. If they wanted to see Danny's likes, they could go under About Me. They could view the likes. and see really quickly right here, Danny likes to play with her iPhone. She listens to music, plays games. Danny likes to walk in nature and around the neighborhood. Maybe they need to get a hold of Debbie or myself or another emergency contact. They could go into family. That's a picture of Debbie, myself, my son, a couple grandparents, my middle daughter, Alex. They might need to administer medications. So here's the medication and all the details of medication. This is one of Danny's actual meds that helps her control seizures. She takes them twice a day. Here's the prescribing doctor. Here's the pharmacy name. Here's a little bit of additional info. Uh, Here's the dispenser. Debbie actually took a picture of the dispenser, and then on her real plan, we actually have pictures of the bottles themselves with the scripts on them. So you can correlate the bottles themselves with the information up here. And as you can see, Danny takes many medications, about 7 a day. Okay. Um, I talked to you about routines. Danny, I would consider high support. And people, new caregivers, understanding her morning routine and her bedtime routine, even her toileting and shower routine is really important. Now, one thing that is really amazing about the Danny plan is that it is a web-based application that is extremely mobile friendly. Everything that you can do on the computer, you can do just as easily on your mobile device. That's where most people are going to be having it. When you share with a new caregiver, most likely they'll have it at their fingertips on their phone and they'll be able to scroll through and again use it like a manual, right? I'll give you a quick sense of what that looks like. I'm going to exit the screen. And as you can see right here, um, just want to make sure, we still see this? Melissa, can
Screen
you,
is not visible right now, Joel.
what's that?
The screen is not visible right now.
It's
It
not,
was.
okay. It was, yeah. For some reason, when I went to that, it stopped sharing. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay, how about now? Okay,
You're
I
back.
think we're
Yep.
good share. Okay, so this is what it looks like actually on mobile, right? And again, anything that you need to see, whether it's to add information, view information, upload a document, edit something on the fly. That's one of the beauties of the Danny plan, being able to update things when you need to on the fly, like a new medication. You can do it while you're sitting at the doctor's office right there. A caregiver could be out and about in the field with in the community with Danny and notice she likes a new food, and they could go ahead um, and enter that new food right in there for them. Now, here's an example of some routines, right? So again, Debbie and I could hire have a brand new caregiver come in, and maybe they need to deal with Danny's morning routine, bedtime routine, whatever it happens to be. They could easily pull up. And again, we can almost not explain anything to them. Of course, we will, but this makes sure that they do everything correctly and takes the fear out of us. Like, I'm making sure that they really understand how to do everything step by step. Here's an example of Danny's morning routine. Open her door at 8:30, say, "Good morning, Danny." She will stir. She can rest for another 20 minutes or so. Number two, go into her room. But we have all the routines in here: a morning routine, a toileting routine, a dressing routine, a shower routine, a menses routine, brushing teeth, and then finally a bedtime routine. So you may recall when I was talking about those little nuances, those little quirky things about Danny. One of them is Danny will not sleep without that pink blanket. Here's an example of how powerful using video can be to actually show people how to do things. And we've had things, this is a good example of just something simple like preparing Danny's bed for sleep, but we've had people show what a seizure looks like or how to put in a feeding tube. It can be very basic to very, something very medical.
So Danny's bed always has a bunch of pillows on it, which is obviously not easy for her to go to sleep with. So I take off all the pillows and I put them in a stack over here on the floor. And I just pile them up really high and I leave her just the main pillows. So I leave her the regular sleep pillows, the ones in the tie-dye and then her regular sleep pillows. And then everything else, all these other decorative pillows, the fluffies and the ones with the words, those all get stacked over here, and she can put them back on her bed in the morning.
Okay, so I think you get the point. This is where I usually stop and do a quick survey of whether does Danny really need that many pillows. I usually lose that argument, but I like to put it out there. So, okay. So again, just showing you quickly the power of video. Really a lot of uses for it. And what's really cool is, and I say this all the time, is that the Danny plan really was built for families by families. And what I mean by that is there's so many updates. Give me 1 second here to just get back to the dashboard. There's been so many updates we've made, all based on feedback that we've received from parents like yourself. And we're continue to do along the way. Okay, sorry about this. I'm going to reshare. For some reason, it kind of keeps popping off share for me here. Just give me 1 second. Okie dokie. Okay. All right. So a couple other things I'll just show you really quick. Couple of uses, another use of a link that I think is a really cool. Debbie added, again, you can add as many of your own subcategories as possible. Every time you see these little green pencils, it's actually a subcategory Debbie added. Here's an example where Debbie added Danny's Beaumont chart. That's the local hospital here. So again, everything in one place, right? If you have other patient portals, you can add the links right to it. We can go down here and it'll actually take us right to the patient portal. So pretty nice way of navigating through things. Again, Danny may be out in the community and first time out in the community with someone and they want to know what her favorite restaurants are. They can pull this up on her phone, view her favorite restaurants. Danny happens to be a Starbucks girl. This is her order, tall decaf iced Americano with almond milk. Okay. All right. So one of the other things that's really nice is the ability, again, talking about documents, all those documents we get over the years. No longer are they going to be in a binder, or are they going to be in folders or maybe saved on your computer or have to make a phone call? Can I get a copy of this? Every important document that you can get, you can upload right into the Danny plan. You can put them in any of these categories. You can find them really easily over here at links, documents, and photos. You can also add them over here. Here are some examples of those. You can click main category and put them in alphabetical order. One thing is, again, finding something really easily because everything's in alphabetical order and you have a main category, a subcategory, a description. Here's an example of an IEP for Danny. Now, Danny could be switching to a new teacher, and that teacher may want to get a copy of Danny's old IEP. Here's a quick example of what that upload looks like here. But what's really cool is Debbie and I could be at Home Depot on an errand on the weekend. And from Home Depot, I could pull this document up on my mobile phone and I could email it right out to whoever needs to get a copy of it. So not only are they on the Danny plan accessible, but you can share them out as well. Keep in mind, we are HIPAA compliant. If there's any medical information, any medical documents that need to be sent out, they'll have this little shield on them. Here's a quick example. If I were to go ahead and try to share this particular document and go ahead and add someone's email, you'll see down here, it comes with a protected code. I would have to share this protected code with the person that I'm sending this document to for them to be able to open up that email. Okay. All right. So again, the real power of the plan comes in the ability to share the plan with other people, right? And there's 3 different ways to share this plan. You can either print or email a PDF. You're going to do this for people who aren't in your loved one's life very often. Maybe they're not that tech savvy, or maybe they just prefer to have a PDF that they could scroll through on their phone or a printed copy in their hands. The third way will be for people that are in your loved one's life on a daily basis, a caregiver, a family member, maybe a teacher. What you're going to do here is you'd go into new share profile. You'll put their information in here, email, their name, phone number. You'll decide what role they got. The most common role is a shared user, as you can see, for caregivers, teachers, friends, or family. Then what you're going to do down here is give permissions. So depending on who the individual is, you're going to only share certain things. If it's a family member or a guardian, you may choose to share everything with them. So I'll check it all, including maybe finances and legal. For a caregiver, and let's say a brand new caregiver, you're going to kind of decide which information you want to give them. So about me, emergency, maybe food and diet, probably not education or housing, definitely not finances or legal. So you're going to decide which information you want to give them. Right here where it says access, you're going to decide, do you want them to just view it, or do you want them to be able to make updates to it? So for a caregiver that's been with you a long time, you have a lot of trust, you may want to actually give them the ability where they can help you keep this updated. So that's one of the keys to the Danny plan. Really, everybody needs a plan to be available if for some reason you're not around. Now, whether you do that on paper or you do it digitally, it needs to be updated. One of the beauties of the Danny plan is you're not the only one, even though you can update it very easily. You can also have others that are in your loved ones' lives update it on a continual basis. New like, a new food, a new behavior, whatever it happens to be, and just update things on the fly. Okay. Now, once you go ahead and save that, you're going to invite that individual to join the plan. They're going to get an email inviting them to join Danny's Danny plan. They will then sign up with their own username and password. They will also, just like all of us, have to go through 2-step authentication, just like your bank from a security standpoint. And then again, they will only have access to the information you've given them access to. Now, the other thing you can do is, again, you can print the plan. You can create print profiles. So just like sharing the plan, you can do this very similar thing. You can name a profile. You can decide which information you want to print out. So you're only printing out the pertinent information for a specific individual, right? And here's a couple examples that Debbie did. You have a caregiver profile, anyone that comes into the home. Danny's school, teacher and staff at school. Here's one called medications and insurance. That's the only thing that'll be printed, and it says print before a doctor's appointment. Now, one of the things I'm going to do really quick is show you what the printed view looks like. And this is basically the complete plan printed out. And what you're going to see here is Danny's key information up at the top. All the main categories are in these blue bars. All the subcategories are in bold. Now, for you to find the next main category, all you have to do is look for that blue bar on the top of the page. So here's about me, and maybe I'm going to look for key people. It'll be right there. Next one would be medical and therapy. So pretty clean, easy way to kind of find all the information. And again, whether you're sharing it by print or digitally, just really organized and easy for people to understand. And that's the key. That's what we really want. Okay. I'm going to show you one more quick feature, and then I'm going to stop for questions. An important feature, I think, is we have the ability to set notifications. So this is also a really nice tool for either you to set notifications for yourself, for you set notifications for your loved ones to get them. Some have loved this idea from an independence standpoint for them to get their own notifications, time to leave for work, time to take your meds, whatever it happens to be. Of course, if they have their own devices. But of course, for a caregiver, giving them notifications is also really nice. So quick example here would be for you have a brand new caregiver come in, and they're going to have to administer medication. So we're going to say give meds. And here we're going to go Lamictal. And this is a daily notification. Danny takes meds daily. This individual caregiver happens to work on Monday, let's say, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm going to go ahead, let's say Danny takes this particular med at 1 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and set that. And then I'm going to select the caregiver, this brand new caregiver. I can either add them in, or if they're already in here as a shared user, I'll go ahead and select their name. And what'll happen is Crystal will get a text message on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. to give meds Lamictal. So again, she won't forget to do something really important. You can also add as many people to this reminder as you want. So we could add ourselves. I could send one to Debbie as well. She would get one at the same time. So you could do daily notifications like time to brush your teeth or meds. You can also do date specific notifications, time to turn in that guardian form, or there's a dentist appointment. And again, you can pick the individual that's going to take Danny to the dentist or who needs to turn in the guardian form. You can decide who you'd like to get those reminders. Okay. Why don't we stop there? And Pat, maybe you can start reading off some of the questions.
Sure. We actually only have kind of one question at this point. And I think you probably answered it, but I'll repeat it anyway. So what exactly is the Danny plan? Is it a PDF, a Word file, or something different and specific? Then there's a second part to that. It says, thanks. It's a web app and also available on the computer, question mark. We're going to pause for a moment for interpreters.
Good.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this is a web-based application. It is not an app. So on mobile, you do go out to the web to find the mobile-friendly version. You can, again, of course, print it, and you can create a PDF out of it. But this is a digital centralized hub that will help store all the information about your loved one in one place. And that's what it is. Any other questions flowing in, Pat? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. How long does it take to start a basic plan?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take long at all. It's really easy to get set up and log in. It'll actually guide you through a few questions to get you started. Different people take different amount of time to complete the Danny plan. Some people jump in and they have 50 entries within a day or so. And some people take 2, 3, 4 weeks to slowly kind of get the information in there. One thing about the Danny plan, I know that this could feel kind of overwhelming and like it's a lot of data. What we tell people is you're not in a race. There's nothing you have to complete by the next day. I always like to use the example that you could literally fill out 2 entries a day for 30 days. Those 2 entries would probably take you 5 to 10 minutes. And within 30 days, you would have a pretty complete plan. Now, we generally recommend maybe somebody puts 20 minutes, a half hour, an hour on their calendar and start working on it. But I think within, again, it depends on the person and how quickly you kind of, you work. But I would say most people within, as long as you're kind of putting a little bit of time in your calendar each week, usually within 30 days, most people can get it fully completed. And again, if you really wanted to be diligent, you'll find that you can get it done much quicker than that. Um, the other thing that we do is we have an onboarding, a free onboarding. So if you sign up, you're going to get an email. Now, Debbie is one of the individuals that do that. I don't know, Deb, if you're on right now. Um, Debbie's watching, maybe watching Danny right now, actually, but okay. Yep, Deb, you're on mute, but maybe you can kind of walk people through the onboarding that Debbie does. She's kind of takes care of all client relations and she does a lot of the onboarding. So why don't you explain that a little bit, Debbie?
Sure. Hi, everybody. So my role at Danny Plan is Director of Customer Experience, and one of my main things that I like to do is work with families to get their plan started. So I send out after you guys become members, we'll send out an email with a link to my Calendly. You'll choose a time that works for you, and then we'll get together via Zoom, and I'll walk you through some entries, show you all of the plan capabilities, make sure that you're taking advantage of all of the features that we offer, and then we'll set up a plan for you to complete your plan. So if you're somebody that wants to work quickly, we can set it up that way. If you're somebody that wants to do 2 or 3 tiles per week, we can set it up that way. So really up to you, but we can devise a plan to help you get started and complete your plan.
Thanks, Deb.
Okay, we ready for more questions?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, the next one you may answer later in the session, but what is the cost to Danny's plan is one?
Yeah, for sure. So the annual cost is $99 per year. That's for the individual who you create the plan for, the $99. Now, you can share the plan with as many people as you want. There's no additional cost for that. Okay. Now, a additional plan, so we do have many members who have an additional individual, another child with a disability. Some people put their aging parents in, those type of things. An additional plan is $59. I think it might be $59.95 for any additional plan. And then we do have some additional plans, meaning we have a 5-year plan. We have we also have a lifetime plan. So those are a few different options. Once you've kind of decided that you love the Danny plan, if if it's working for you, you could go ahead and upgrade if you'd like to a couple different plans that might work better for you, and they're a little bit more economical. So.
Okay, very nice. Is there a software version for a desktop?
There is no, I mean, this is a website basically. So you're going to go out to the web to get it. There's no specific software that you're going to download or anything. You're just going to go to dannyplan.com, and that will be, once you log in, that'll be what you're going to use as your plan.
Okay. Is there a limit to the amount of documentation that can be uploaded?
There is no limit. One of the things that we did was when people were asking for video, we decided to put video outside the plan rather than embed it, which means, and there are video, there you can create your own YouTube channel, make it private, go ahead and create videos and then take those links. Because the video is outside the system, it doesn't add a lot of memory. So everything that you put in here really does not take too much memory. We have plenty of memory and storage for that $99 a year. Yep.
Thanks. How can we get access to a blank version of the Danny plan to start our own?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do at the end is I'm going to give you a coupon code. If you want to start, you can go to dannyplan.com and just go to get started. We're going to give you a coupon code that you can put in there for 30% off the first year. And you'll go ahead and sign up, and then it'll walk you through the plan. You can also do a 14-day free trial if you're kind of would like to get your, kind of play with it a little bit. You could go ahead and do a 14-day free trial and then decide within that amount of time if you want to move forward or not.
Nice. What is the accommodation for two parents who are not together?
Yeah, great question. So one of the things that you can do when you share the plan is one of you will sign up as the person who signs up will basically be the administrator of the plan. Now, one of the things that you can do when you're sharing the plan, and again, you can decide how you want to share it, you can make that other individual or that other parent a co-administrator. Now, when they are a co-administrator, they have the same level of ability to kind of have all the visibility to everything in the site. They can add people they want to share to. They can even have access to the payment information so that if something happened to one parent, the other parent still has access to it. Great question.
Okay, can the cost be covered by medical assistance or Medicaid?
What I'll tell you is, I don't know this answer whether you guys are have self-determination there or not. Does anybody know that answer?
Self-determination,
Yeah, I think self-directed service.
self-directed
Oh,
services,
yeah,
yes.
self-directed
Yeah.
services. So I'll tell you, it is possible. Right now in California, we're having people submit on their personal plans of service to add the Danny plan as a goal. Now, what they're doing is they're opting for the life plan because the regional centers, they're called regional centers there, would prefer to just pay one time than have a subscription. So they're buying the lifetime. So it's kind of a one and done. And so far, we've gotten a few people covered. This has just started, but apparently, once a few people are covered, they're getting covered. So, and I'm having people now we're based in Michigan, are also kind of asking for it to be covered. So, state by state, I don't know. Some are more flexible. California happens to be a state that they're very flexible with those types of things. It may take a little bit more, but I think over time you can make it happen. You certainly could try and ask them. I know that what they've done is basically said this product is for health and safety for my child and also for future planning so people know exactly how to do it. And they've also said that this would even be good for you so you guys will understand all this information about my child. So that's one way of trying to get it covered. The other thing is if you do have an ABLE account, you certainly can use ABLE account dollars to cover the Danny plan as well.
I was actually going to ask about using the able
Yeah,
account. You answered that
absolutely.
question. Great.
That one's for sure.
Yeah, right.
I would say on the other one, I'm not exactly sure how strict your state is on those type of things. I do think over time we're going to get it covered, but I think it's going to take a little bit. Again, it could be one parent asking for it and getting it. Somebody who's a little pushy or something, it might happen, and you never know. Once you kind of get a couple covered, then usually they start covering more. So.
Okay, and then can you discuss the safety of the site?
Yeah, the security, if we're talking about. So basically, this is again, a web-based application. It is all this information is stored in Amazon Cloud at the highest level of security. We have the site is 100% encrypted, which basically means if anybody tried to hack into the site, all they would see is gibberish. Again, everybody who signs up will have to sign up for two-step authentication, just like your bank. You will have to put a code in, either texted to you or emailed to you. You have to decide. And on top of that, we also have we're also HIPAA compliant, which took us about 8 months, and there's many, many layers of additional security coming into that. And then within a week, we are also going to have the ability for you to add a PIN code. So just like your bank card, you'll be able to decide, is there some information you want to put under PIN code, which means you'll create a PIN code for yourself, 1, 2, 3, 4, that only you would know, or you might share it with others that you want to be able to open up that PIN. And if you wanted to cover up a social security number, you could add that additional layer of security. So thanks for the
Okay.
question. Great question.
Those are the questions in the chat right now.
Okay, great. Okay, just a couple other things. Just have, looks like about 13 minutes left. So I'm just going to tell you about a few other quick things, and then I will also share that coupon code with you. As you can see down here on the left side here, you'll see we have the ability to do, we have a shared calendar. And that basically means that all of the individuals in your loved one's life could have access to this calendar. Everybody can see what each other are doing. We also have a journal. This was a big one that parents and organizations were looking for, the ability to communicate with each other on a day-to-day basis and give different types of information. So here's a quick example of a journal entry from, let's say, a caregiver. Danny's day, general update. Danny had a great day today. We went for coffee at Starbucks. We went on a long walk in nature. We went to pickleball. We ate at Chipotle. She took her meds after we ate, and there's a little picture of Danny. Now, what you'll see here is it's time stamped and date stamped. And all of this information is tracked. So you can go in to add a new journal entry. Again, you can have your caregivers do a general update. They could give this general update to anybody they would like to. Or actually, the caregiver would generally be giving it just back to you because you're the administrator. Now you can give an update to anybody else, a teacher, a caregiver. Hey, Danny had a rough night sleeping last night. Just wanted to give you a quick update on that. Here, where it says general update, first of all, you can add a new general category. So you can categorize anything you'd like to. Here's some examples of that. Behaviors, you might want to track behaviors. Maybe you started a new medication and you want to track those behaviors. Medications, maybe someone just, wants to say you want the caregiver to let you know when you gave meds to, so medication, gave her meds at 5, right? You can put a journal entry in. Maybe you want to track the time spent by the caregiver. You could use that. Now, you don't have to go into Danny Plan to see these entries. Most people look at their emails more often, obviously. So you check this little box here, and then you can pick the individual that you want to share this with, and it'll come in an email. It'll obviously also be on the Danny Plan. You can add a photo like I showed you. You can also add a document on there. So if you wanted to take a picture of a receipt, or maybe you want to send a document to somebody individually, you can also do it this way by adding a document. All right. Deb, I don't know if you're on at the moment or not, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything important. Any other questions pop up, Pat?
No additional questions. Nope.
Sorry.
Anything else, Deb, that you think would be
I think you did a great job. I know it's a lot of information for people. If you briefly want to touch on the managed tiles and the progress tracking, just real quickly, because I know there's a lot for people to think about, but it might be a fun addition to show people.
Okay. Yeah, let me go through the managed tiles piece. So one of the really powerful things about the Danny Plan is that you can really personalize it. And up here, you can go ahead and press Manage Tiles, and you can decide which tiles you want visible in your dashboard and which ones you want hidden, right? So an example of that is Danny has 1 year left of education. After that, there's a good chance we'll decide to just hide that tile over here. Now, one of these main categories might be more important. So you may want to move finances to the top. I can just move that over there. The other thing you can do is you'll see over here, we have a library of tiles. So we have aging. If somebody has digital information like subscriptions they want to keep, There's an end of life plan. Again, this is also used for aging, and people use it for lights. If there's a light just for their own life to share. If somebody has a pet, you can move pets over. It gives all the details of pets. So you really could create the plan that you want to create right there. And then we do have the ability to kind of track your progress to see how you're doing. You can kind of click this progress. Again, progress tracking is really about you decide when you're done, but as you can see, 83% completed. It'll just kind of show you where you're at as far as filling out the Danny plan.
Joel,
Okay.
show them with enabling progress tracking, like just click on that really quickly. I just want to show them. I met with someone today that thought this was one of the best parts of the plan. So some people find it great for accountability. But if you click on About Me, you can see each of these subcategories. To the left of them are check marks. So before you like uncheck most important things to know about me, Joel, like up at the top. Okay, so when you put in your entry for most important things to know about me, you determine in that moment, like if you feel like you want to continue working on it or if you think it's done. And by clicking there, go ahead, Joel. You can choose in progress or completed. So you know what you've done and what you need to go back for. So it's a nice accountability, a nice way for you to keep track of what you need to go back and complete.
Thanks, Deb. You explained that way better than I did. Okay, fantastic. All right, well, it looks like we have a few minutes left. What I'd love to do now, I'm gonna unshare. Melissa, if you can maybe
Yeah, I'm ready.
okay, great. So one of the things I want to do is give everybody a coupon code. Let me know when you get it up, Melissa.
It's up.
No, not yet.
You can't.
Fantastic. So one of the things that we did here is we put together as a thank you to PCR a discount for you for the first year. That discount. So again, you're going to go to dannyplan.com. You go to Get Started. It'll walk you through it. There'll be a spot there that'll say ask for a code, and you'll put in there PCR30, and that'll give you 30% off the first year subscription. That it will be good through tomorrow evening, around this time, basically. We do that purposely because one of the hardest parts for people is just getting started. So we like to encourage people to just get started. You can always do the 14-day free trial and still get the 30%. So you don't feel pressured like, oh, I have to make this decision right now, whether I want to spend this money. You can do the 14-day and put the code in, and then you have a couple weeks to kind of decide and play with it. And again, as soon as you sign up, you will get an email. You'll also get a nice video from my lovely wife, Debbie, that'll encourage you to sign up for the onboarding. Deb and the other onboarders are amazing at it. They're really helpful. They're fun to they do one-on-ones. It's all about you getting started, making sure you really understand how to, how to do everything. And, Debbie will give you a really good path to kind of get it done without it being overwhelming for you at all. So I really highly encourage it for you. I know a few other questions have come in.
Correct. Yes, I have. So there's one, do you have a tile, for instance, within the All About Me, in which Danny has the opportunity to share what Danny would like and what Danny wants to tell you? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great question. Debbie, how would you answer that question?
So what I would do if I was working with this particular family for onboarding, we don't have that, but I would suggest creating that because that's a great thing to have in your plan. So Joel, if you were to go back to sharing in your About Me tile, if you want to go back to your page real quickly.
Hold on, let me stop share real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So under any categories, Joel mentioned that you can create additional categories and subcategories, but under About Me, right next to About Me, it says add new subcategory. You can name that anything you want. So I actually love the idea of saying things Danny may want to share with you or may want you to understand. That's a great thing to write. And then you can fill it out however you want. So Joel's creating that new subcategory. It wouldn't necessarily need contact info or notifications, so you could say no. And then you now have that category. You go right down and hit new entry in there, and you can type whatever it is you want and share it with whomever you want.
Yeah, we really built this thing. Thanks, Debbie. That was a great explanation. We
Yeah.
really built this where you could really personalize it. We wanted, that was one of the key things is we didn't want to tell you what you needed to put. We wanted you to be able to put what you want and what's important to you and your family.
Okay, there's a thank you for that. And then the final question, can someone upgrade to a lifetime plan from the first year subscription?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do that and you let us know, if you decide you want to try it out, and then, within a few months you decide to upgrade. And by the way, what you can do here is you can go to upgrade plan right here.
We can't see because Melissa's sharing, Joel, but it's on the left side toolbar of the Danny plan. If you go down to the bottom of the left side.
Yeah. Oh, you can't see this right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I shared the coupon again.
Oh, you share the coupon again? Got it. Okay. Yeah, so you can go ahead and upgrade and I can go ahead we can go ahead and actually refund you for the I think it's $63 or something like that the cost would be for this year. So if you end up upgrading to the lifetime plan, for sure. No problem.
Okay, that's it.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Joel and Debbie. And I want to thank everyone. This is actually our last meeting for the school year, but we will be back in September for another amazing year of virtual transition times. Tips and meeting will be held once a month from September until June, and then all meetings will be completely the same and continue to be offered with simultaneous ASL in Spanish and archived on the PCR website. So we hope to see everyone in September.